the Walt Disney Company India to come on stage, please. Bikram.
Hello, and welcome to all the members of the press and the media, and a big shout out to all the Marvel fans in the house. At Marvel, it is all about you fans. It's you who've made Marvel into such a pop culture phenomenon in this country. And it is so, so gratifying for us to see you make into this pop culture phenomena. From our perspective, there are three other reasons which have made Marvel into this pop culture phenomena in this country. One of those is the fact that Marvel's storytelling is based on these universal themes of heroism, of friendship, of good prevailing over the evil. And this connects with fans actually around the world, but ever so more in India. The second reason, which is extremely gratifying for us, is that we are able to curate these stories and transcribe them and bring to fans in India in local languages, in Hindi, in Tamil, and Telugu. We work with some of the best writers, some of the best voice artists in bringing this to fans like yourselves and millions of fans across India in languages which they can enjoy in. You wouldn't be surprised that 50% of all the audience who watched Infinity War was in local languages in India. But possibly the most important reason why Marvel has become such a pop cultural phenomenon, such a great brand in this country, is this adherence to the character narrative. It's always the character before the superhero. It's always the character before the spectacle. So in case of Iron Man, it's his inner conflict of being this scientist maverick and the inner pressure of wanting to save the world. And this character narrative and adherence to it has catapulted Marvel in India into one of those great entertainment brands which invite audiences, millions of audiences, movie after movie, and newer audiences which keep coming into the setup. And if talking of millions of fans, Infinity War, Avengers Infinity War, any fans here? That film was the #1 Hollywood film in India, inviting who's made the film, the cinematic genius of Joe Russo. Hey, Joe.
Hey, how are you? Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me here.
Welcome to Joe. This is your first time in India, I believe?
This is, in fact, my first time in India. I just wanted everyone to know that this is the first stop on the press tour. We insisted on this being the first stop on the press tour because of the incredible response to Infinity War. And in fact, I got on the plane and came over here, and the movie's not even finished yet. That's how much this meant to us. So, you know, we've been meaning to come to India for a long time. We've heard so many great things about the country, and more importantly, about the fans here. We love great Marvel fans. I met some Indian media last year during the promotion of Avengers Infinity War, and I promised some of them that we would be here for the next movie. So here we are.
Great. Joe, I always wanted to ask you this. How does it feel to be such an integral part of what has become a true phenomenon across the world?
Well, it's incredibly gratifying. I mean, these things are hard work, and the fact that we've managed to reach and engage and entertain fans across the globe, including India, is one of the reasons why Anthony and I love being part of this franchise. The ride has been nothing less than exhilarating, and for both of us, from Captain America: The Winter Soldier through Avengers Endgame. You know, there's an emotional arc for the two of us as filmmakers that we've imbued all of the 4 films with that we've worked on at Marvel, and you know, it's audiences like the ones sitting here that they're the reasons that we make these movies.
Awesome, great round of applause for Joe Russo. I'm gonna step down now, and you guys have Joe Russo all to yourself. He's gonna show you some stuff.
Thank you, Bikram, and thank you to everyone present here. You've been such amazing fans that, you know, I want to thank you for being with us since the beginning of the Marvel Cinematic Universe 11 years ago, and you've patiently been on this journey with us, and it's been a very memorable ride, and we couldn't have done it without you. So that's why I'm here. I wanted to thank you in person. You all have embraced the stories, you've loved the characters, laughed and cried with us, and for that we're incredibly appreciative. And of course, thank you to the media for supporting the films here. And honestly, for never spoiling them. And we're going to ask you once again, with Endgame, please don't spoil the movie. I think there are more secrets in Endgame than there were in Infinity War. So, be respectful of the fans, and fans be respectful of other fans. And once you see this film, please don't tell them what's in it. Let them experience it on their own. Our philosophy, my brother and I, is to take global stories which are universal in nature and present them in a locally relevant manner. Given that India plays host to a whole lot of different languages, we realize the importance of bringing our global stories to you in the language that you prefer. So the team here has been doing a brilliant job, I think, in translating the narratives and translating the narratives and highlighting the local nuances while at the same time preserving the context of the films. And everyone has reacted phenomenally. The fans have reacted phenomenally to this. And you're making each of these stories your own. And as a mark of our appreciation and a big, big thank you, we have created a very special Marvel anthem for Indian fans, which has been composed by none other than the musical maestro of India, A.R. Rahman. So please give it up for him. This one's really special for all of us, and we can't think of a more perfect way to thank all the fans who have stood by us over the years. And I want to show it to you here for the very first time.
दरिया से भी गहरी मंजिल है रहना रहे ये दुनिया डरने वाले अब सो नहीं अपने रोके ना रुकेंगे अब तो यारा.
Pretty awesome. He played that for me last night for the first time, and I didn't say a word. I just walked over to him and I hugged him. I get the goosebumps every time I watch it. And I think, that's a true manifestation of what I was referring to earlier about taking a global story and bringing it to a local context for audiences here. So the song is in Hindi, but it goes really well, incredibly well with the setting and the temperament of the film and the emotions that you feel when you watch these movies. You know what? I think that I'd probably like to see that one more time, and I think you guys would too, so why don't we just play it one more time. I want to recognize the mastermind behind this. He is here with us today, so let's get him out here. Please give a huge round of applause to A.R. Rahman. This anthem is incredible. As I told you last night, I got goosebumps. I teared up the first time I saw it. And I'm sure everyone here is going to echo my sentiments. Am I right? Yeah, so thank you so much for creating this. It means a lot to me personally as a filmmaker, and I think it's going to mean a lot to the Indian fans of Marvel. And I know it's not easy to impress those fans, but I think you're going to do an incredible job of that. So can you talk a little bit about creating the track and what it meant to you?
First of all, thank you for the great opportunity, and it's a great honor meeting you and working with Avengers Marvel.
for India. As you know, Universal thinks about good and evil. And so when they briefed me about the story, it resonated with me. And I wanted to create something which is for the sentiment of this film. And I hope people like it.
Oh, I love it. So I'd like to open the floor right now for any questions for either of us. So please, why don't we start with any hands raised right back there? Way in the back.
Hello. First of all, thank you for coming to India. I was wondering if you could talk about how it was having Stanley on the set when he had to shoot the cameo. What was the environment like? What was the general vibe?
What it was like being on set?
What was it like having Stanley on the set?
Stan Lee on the set. I mean, it was amazing. I mean, he's the. I wouldn't be standing here without him. I believe that his final cameo is in Endgame. I don't remember if he was well enough to do the Homecoming cameo or not. But it was incredible. I mean, I grew up on these comic books. Stan Lee was an idol of mine when I was a kid, and to be able to have the opportunity to not only work on the material that he created, but to work with him as a childhood dream come true.
I would like to know how tricky was it to wrap up the 10 years of this storytelling, and what were the pressures that came with it?
It was, I mean, it's very difficult. It requires a lot of discipline and focus. There's a lot of characters that they're working with. We're working with this incredible amount of story, an unprecedented amount of story. This is, 11 years of narrative culminating in one movie. And we're focusing on the original 6 Avengers, and we're closing the book on those characters and the story that's been told about them for the last decade. So, we spent a lot of time and energy and thought with the writers, Christopher Marcus and Steve McFeely, really trying to deliver a powerful and emotionally impactful ending, and hopefully we've delivered that. We'll find out soon enough.
Hi, first of all, incredible song, I loved it. And so my question is to you, Rahman, who has been your favorite Marvel superhero and your favorite movie?
My favorite, actually, Iron Man and Black Panther.
And favorite superhero movie, like Marvel movie?
Actually, Black Panther. Because it's new.
Yeah. So good choice.
Hello, Rahman sir. For you, Alan Silvestri has composed the score for Avengers. So did he have any inputs for you for the anthem?
No. This whole thing was conceived, recorded in just 10 days, and shot.
So did you show it to him, make him hear? Nothing.
No, because they just finished the score, I believe yesterday. He was saying, Mr. Joe, was that 5 days before they finished the score. So this is completely independent of this thing. This is for the Indian audience. And so I was a bit skeptical when I played him. Didn't know whether he will like it. He said, you've given us a hit. So thank you for that.
Yes, of course. I mean, the first time I saw it was last night. So, like I said, I thought it represented the spirit of what these movies are in a way that you can't express in words, which is why he's a musical genius. So, any other questions?
So actually, I have 2 questions. The first being, out of the 32 look posters of Endgame that were released, 4 of them, Nick Fury, Valkyrie, Gamora, and Hawkeye, are seen staring straight into the camera. Is there any theory behind that?
Wait, they're seen staring straight into the camera when?
In the look posters that were released, the 32 look posters from
Oh,
Endgame.
well, look, one thing we love about Marvel fans is that they read something into everything.
Yeah.
They do our job for us, right? No, I wouldn't take much, I wouldn't put much stock into that theory.
The second one is also kind of to that itself. In the trailer, when Ant-Man is reading these missing posters, on the house in the backdrop, there's a 1064. There's a number 1064 which
Yeah.
is written. In Avengers number 10, which released in 1963, Earth 1064 is a parallel universe. Are you all hinting at the multiverse theory in Endgame?
Are you on Reddit a lot? Is that where you're getting these? Are you the guy on Reddit that's writing these theories? I'm not gonna confirm or deny any of this. So, no, it's not implying the multiverse. Sorry.
Okay, so
Yeah.
in Marvel number 10, issue number 10, the 1963 version, which was the Avengers breakup. We had the Red Hulk was there in that, and it also hints at your fantastic Reed Richards. Any way we could see Reed Richards help Ant-Man understand the quantum realm?
I mean, here's the thing. I'll take any questions about the thematics in Endgame, but I'm not going to answer any questions on the plot of Endgame. We spent 3 years protecting the plot of the movie from Tom Holland and Mark Ruffalo. So I'm not going to come here and suddenly give away the plot of the film. But I appreciate and I admire your effort. Okay.
Hi.
Yeah.
Hi. Joey, this side.
Yeah.
How important it is to have an imprint on the film as a director, especially when different directors' storylines are sort of merging in it. So tonally making them similar, how challenging was that?
Well,
Thematically.
I think they're all tonally very different. I mean, I think our tone is very different than Taika Waititi's tone. It's very different than James Gunn's tone. It's very different than Fleck and Bowden, who made Captain Marvel, or Coogler, who made Panther. So nobody tries to emulate tone. And in fact, I think our Thor is very different than Taika's Thor. I think the fans go along with that. I think that they like that there are different filmmakers behind each film, the way that there are different writers behind comic books. They understand the notion that depending on the author, the tone and energy and inflection of the characters can change. So, you know, for my brother and I, we try to bring psychological realism to the characters, and we like to deconstruct stories. And so I think when you look at our films, Winter Soldier through Endgame, that's the consistent tone for us, is a level of psychological realism and constantly deconstructing the universe. In Winter Soldier, we found out that the good guys were the bad guys. In Civil War, we deconstructed the Avengers by splitting them up. In Infinity War, we deconstructed the Marvel Universe by killing half of the characters. So, you know, that's just a theme with us, and as filmmakers, the issues that are important to us from a storytelling standpoint. Sorry, does someone else have the microphone? Yeah. We can, yeah, anywhere, yeah.
Website. I want to ask both of you something. So when you work on an anthem of this level, how important is it to look out the entire theme which suits the Indian as well as the US audience? Because a lot of people are globally involved in it. And Rahman sir has worked internationally, so of course he knows the taste of people from both the places. So how much brainstorming happens over such themes?
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. I think if you look at it, as I told you before, it's a universal phenomenon, good versus evil, and inspiration and motivation to fight against evil. So that was my brief. And so I worked with the lyricist Nirmika on this. And so we came up with the hook, Rokena. And I played that to the folks, and they really loved it. They came to Chennai, 3 of them, and they instantly liked it, and they wanted some little changes. So this whole thing was just a week's work, and then we played it last night too.
I think, look, great music is great music, no matter what language it's in or what part of the world it's coming from. And this man has consistently made some incredible music. So I think all Marvel fans are going to be inspired by that piece.
Joe, sir, right here. Sir, just now that you said, first of all, welcome to India. And now that you have said that you have taken the first 6 Avengers, you are closing the chapter in Endgame, what I would like to know is that since you said you're closing the chapter, post-Endgame, are we going to see these original Avengers, or are you all going ahead with different characters and different storylines?
Again, I don't want to talk about the plot, but I'll say this, is that, you know, Infinity War was told from the point of view of Thanos, and Endgame is not. So take from that what you will. But that's as much as I'll give you on that question. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Is it possible to pass in the microphone? Sure. Okay. Yeah, thank you.
First of all, welcome to India, and thank you so much for giving us the best MCU movies, be it Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and I'm sure for Endgame. My question to you is, Marvel MCU has got a huge fan following in India. The people are gone crazy for Infinity War. I'm sure that you might have come across some videos of reaction videos in theater.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you that part of the reason I'm here is that when we were working on Endgame, someone sent us a video reaction of an Indian audience, a very large Indian audience, watching Infinity War. And the moment where Thor arrives in Wakanda to save the Avengers, it was deafening. It sounded like a football stadium. And we got the chills listening to it. And I'll tell you, Endgame was not it was not an easy movie to make. It was very, very difficult, very exhausting for my brother and I. And when we had our down moments, we would just pull out that video and listen to that reaction from that audience to Thor arriving in Wakanda, and it would lift our spirits, and we'd keep going. And so thank you very much from the bottom of my heart as a filmmaker for giving us that experience.
My question to you, sir, don't you think it's high time that we should have one superhero from India as well? If yes, then who can be the one?
Picking a superhero from India? I mean, I think, listen, as it move forward, I don't run Marvel, but I'll tell you this, I do know, and I'm a fan and I'm watching, how diverse it is becoming. And I think that is the future of Marvel storytelling. This is global. And it's again, the reason I am here is that audiences around the world are reacting to these movies in a way that is profound. And I am certain that cultures are going to start seeing themselves represented on the screen and identifying with characters on the screen. So look forward to it.
Last question, please.
Hi,
Renuka.
Yes.
Hello. Here.
Oh, sorry, I think we have a microphone right here.
Hi, Joe. It was a
Yes.
pleasure speaking to you early in the morning.
Yeah.
And I have one question for you and Rahman, both of you actually. Joe, for you, the question is that how true is it that you actually didn't let Tom Holland read the script so that he doesn't talk about it? How true is it? Because he keeps joking about it all the time. But is it really true that the script was not
Tom
given to him?
Holland does not get the script. No.
So it's true.
Tom Holland gets his lines, and that's all he gets. Sometimes he doesn't even know who he's acting opposite of. We'll just, and we use like very vague terms to describe to him what is happening in the scene, because he just has a very difficult time keeping his mouth shut.
And Rahman, for you, it's almost 10 years of cinema, for Marvel to kind of get to Endgame. You kind of made the anthem in 10 days. So how difficult is it to kind of sum up 10 years of cinema into one song in 10 days?
Well, I think my son is a bigger fan of Marvel than me. So I would go reflect. I'll just play it. What do you think? It's good, Daddy. I said, okay. So he was my, I would look at his eyes and find whether that we have the spirit. And thank you, Amin.
Thank you. That would be last question, please. So over to you, Joe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, look, I know you probably have a lot more questions. We can go on all day, but thank everyone for attending from the bottom of my heart. I'm really proud to be here, and it's a very rare event for a filmmaker to reach audiences around the world with their stories. And it's profound for my brother and I to have such global stories to tell and to be welcome in the way that we've been welcomed. So I really, really want to do one more round of applause for A.R. Rahman for the incredible piece he made for us. It's going to be online everywhere. We're going to post it on our social media. I'm going to forward it on to Robert Downey and ask him to post it as well. And we want people all over the world listening to the song. So thank you all again, okay?
Like, share and subscribe to TVNXT Bollywood.